Hey guys, Todd with Great Escape Farms here. Today I am standing in front of a sweet Scarlet Goumi along with several other bushes, and I'll pull those aside so you can get a feel for the size of this particular bush. This bush is ready to have its fruit harvested, at least most of it. And I also have an oak in here, so let me pull the oak back so you can see the size of the sweet Scarlet Goumi here. So that's what it looks like on the front, and for the most part all you see is green up front. But if you would just shove a few things back aside, you can see the fruit in here, and there's a good bit of fruit in here. And let me come around to this side. You really see it back in here, and I'll set the tripod up when I'm going over some of the other information for you, but just lots and lots of fruit in there. So what I'm going to do with this, usually I just eat this fresh out of hand. It's difficult to store it for too long. You can store it for a couple days in the refrigerator, but I'll try to get as much as I can as I go along. I generally, I'll eat a couple of dozen of these a day, and I'm going to end up sharing them with a lot of birds, because once the birds find it, which so far they haven't too much yet, they'll go to town on it, and they'll go at it, as well as my rat terriers. They'll eat anything that they can reach. The fruit itself has somewhat of an astringent flavor to it. It's a little bit sweet, but a little bit astringent, and astringent is where it makes your mouth pucker a little. So it's very good tasting fruit. You can make jams and jellies out of it. It's very high in vitamins A, C, and E, and they say that it's as high in lycopene, or it's 3 times higher in lycopene than tomatoes. So a lot of different qualities there for it. So let me set this up on the tripod where we can actually look at the berries, so I'm not waving this back and forth and the wind waving it back and forth too much and making you seasick, and then I'll come back and give you some more information on this bush. Okay guys, I'm set up on the tripod here. So what we're looking at is sweet Scarlet Goumi, which is Elaeagnus multiflora. Elaeagnus is the family that has autumn olive and Russian olive. So autumn olive is a very invasive species in some areas. It's considered invasive. In some areas it's illegal to even have it and grow it, such as my home base in West Virginia. So I am in Maryland and I can have autumn olive. So Elaeagnus multiflora, which is Goumi, is not restricted in the states that restrict autumn olive, because it is not considered invasive. So it doesn't spread the way autumn olive does. So sweet Scarlet Goumi is a Ukrainian variety and is hardy in USDA zones 4 through 8. It is a perennial deciduous shrub, deciduous meaning that it loses its leaves during the winter time. And it's a small shrub that likes well-drained soil and at least a half a day of sunshine. It's suitable for light sandy, medium, and heavy soils, to include clay, but prefers well-drained soil. So, and it can grow in nutritionally poor soil. Sweet Scarlet Goumi, they say, grows 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. However, mine is growing it's about 8 foot tall right now, and I do a good bit of trimming on it. Now that could be because of where I have it with the light. It's a little on the low end of the light, but from what I've seen, it just grows a little higher than what they say of 4 to 6 feet. It produces fragrant, creamy white flowers in May, and it has delicious, nutritious fruit in June, usually. So this year was a warm winter, and it actually flowered in April, and right now we're in May. So just have Memorial Day weekends at the end of May, and you can see that it's fruiting already. So it's not bothered by pests or diseases. It's usually bearing from fruit, or fruit bearing, in 2 to 3 years after planting, if you're planting from a seedling, and they're very drought and wind resistant. One thing that they do say to watch out for is the birds, and animals really love the fruit, which I've seen somewhat, but as you can see, I have a bunch of fruit on here that the birds have not messed with too much this year. So this is, like autumn olive, known as a nitrogen fixer, and what that means is that it has a symbiotic relationship with certain soil bacteria. The bacteria fixes atmospheric nitrogen, making it available in usable form for a host plant and indirectly for other nearby plants. An excellent companion plant when growing in orchards. It can increase yields of fruit trees by up to 10%. As I said a moment ago, it is filled with vitamins A, C, and E. It has flavonoids and other bioactive compounds. It is also a fairly good source of essential fatty acids, which is fairly unusual for a fruit. They have a sweet tart flavor, as I said. They kind of make your mouth pucker a little bit. And they're good with green salads and mixed with other things. You can also use them to make juices and jellies and jams. They're also good for making wine and fruit leather. The seeds are also edible and contain a high amount of protein. A couple of authors claim that the seeds taste like peanuts. To be honest with you, I have not tasted the seeds, and I guess I'll go ahead and do that for this video. With regards to the flavonoids and the vitamins and minerals and stuff, I have to give this legal statement here. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. Okay, so what I'm looking for is the darkest red I can find. The darker the red it is, the sweeter it is. So right in my finger here, you can see I have two of them. One is darker, one is lighter. Actually, this one still has a little bit of the flour on it. Let's see if you can, I don't know if you can see that too much, but that's what the flour looks like right there, except it's yellow. This is a little dried up and old looking there. And so if I take that one, you just pull it off, and it's kind of like a cherry. You end up with the fruit on it, and it's kind of difficult to say the size. It's kind of about the size of a small marble or a very, very small cherry. I'd say even a little bit smaller than cherry, about the size of a blueberry maybe, and it has little polka dots on it. Hopefully you can see that in here, kind of a silverish color on the polka dots. Just put it in your mouth. Yeah, that one's still sour. So that is what the seed looks like right there after you have eaten the fruit off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and eat this seed right here. Usually I save them and try to plant them and come up with sweet Scarlet Goumi seedlings. Let me try this. Okay, so to me, I have very, very little flavor out of it. It has kind of a tough husk on it on the outer side of the seed here that's kind of like putting a whole sunflower seed in your mouth. You get the meat in between, but you still have a little bit of graininess out here, and you can see it's kind of woody. So let me try one that's a little bit younger here and see if that changes it any. Oops, pulled that right off. Same thing. So the seed to me is kind of woody and not horribly flavorful. So the way you pick these, you just come up and you kind of pull out, and you try not to pull any branches off. And with the stems on, you can actually store them in the fridge for several days. The way that I've been eating them is just eating them fresh out of hand here. I'll come out in the morning before I go to work. I'll grab a couple of dozen, put them in a baggie, rinse them off, and then run them on into work and eat them as the day goes on. So I probably will come out here and get some ready for tomorrow. And that's it for harvesting sweet Scarlet Goumi. You can check out our website as well as other places online and come up with recipes for making the jellies and jams and stuff. So please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and have a great day.